Sorry guys, just got a bit of a cough. It's probably like corona or something. Yeah, but anyways, I'm not gonna be playing a video in the background just because it's a lot of stats I want to go over, a lot of final results in this video. So I'm just gonna put that on screen. So yeah, this is gonna be the recap of the finale of Rlcs. So as always, if you enjoy, hit subscribe and let's get right into it. Here are the results for the final week. Let's just start off by going over the first match. But yeah, Ghost beat NRG. Ghost now beat G2 and NRG. Ghost, especially towards the end of the season, was looking great. Ghost ended up finishing in 6th place, which if they were playing like this at the beginning of the season, they'd easily be a top 4 team, maybe a top 2 team. So yeah, Ghost all on the back of Atomic. Atomic, my pick for a top 5 player in the world right now. In fact, I have a video coming out, I think tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do a power rankings video just for individual players who I think are the best players in the world right now. And that's going to be a really good video, so definitely check that out. But yeah, Ghost ended up beating NRG. It was a really close game, really good game. Just Ghost ended up taking it. They played extremely well, just like we're used to them playing. NRG ended up finishing at the end of the day 4th place. A bit of a I guess disappointing season if you're an NRG fan. They did lose a few games you assumed they were going to win. You know, they just didn't play as well. I don't think Justin is playing like his #1 self anymore. I used to call him the #1 player in the world. He's just not playing like that anymore. Garrett G definitely looked very shaky towards the end of the season. Yeah, just a lot of inconsistencies from them. I mean, I say a lot. They still got in 4th place, but, you know, still a bit of things that they need to work on for next season. 4th place, I'm pretty sure is tied for the lowest NRG's ever gotten in RLCS history. So if they got 1 place lower, I'm pretty sure they would have set a new record for their lowest team performance. So they got close. If they lost to G2, then yeah, it would have happened. But yeah, let's get into SSG versus United. Nothing really much to say here. SSG just stomped United. We assumed that they were going to do that, and they did. And then Cloud9 versus PK. I'm actually very surprised. PK didn't take a single game off Cloud9, and I shouldn't be surprised at this point because Cloud9 is looking good, and PK just got worse over the season. Honestly, I don't know how that was possible. PK, they lost to Rogue, they lost to Cloud9, they lost to NRG, G2, losing to everyone. They almost lost to Flight. I don't know how they beat Ghost. They somehow beat Ghost. They went 5 games against E United. I think it's official that that miss for AJ is the worst roster move in all of RLCS history at this point. I mean, it's easily the worst. They went from a top 2 team in North America to almost a relegation team. I don't know. They barely scraped by. They got so lucky. They got lucky. So yeah, they finished 7th, and Cloud9 with a 5th place finish, which is crazy because they were playing like an auto relegation team at the beginning of the season. They went 5 games against Flight at the beginning of the season, which was crazy to think just how they bounced back. No, I'm sorry. They went 4 games against Flight. Here you go. You could see me scrolling. This is what I usually look at, by the way, when I play you guys the videos. I'm scrolling up and down doing this. Yeah, I'm always scrolling back and forth just to make sure I got the right information. But yeah, today, just because there's accolades and shit that I gotta look at, you guys can let me know what you think. If you care, if you'd rather have the video, then and I'll change it for next time if that's what you'd rather have. So yeah, just leave a comment saying, you know, just what you prefer. And yeah, after that, we have Space Station versus G2, and yeah, Space Station just came out clapping G2. They really made, this is the first time all season I think G2 looked slow. And I think it just has to do with the fact that Space Station is undoubtedly the #1 team in North America, probably a top 3 team in the world. Obviously, we don't have Worlds, so we're not going to know if they're better than Dignitas. I know they're not better than Vitality. I'm sorry, Vitality is just too strong of a team on paper for me to root for SSG in that matchup. I think Vitality is just crazy nuts. But I think SSG and Dignitas would be a fucking amazing match to watch. But unfortunately, we're not going to get that. But yeah, I think the only player who's really playing on form in this G2 game was JNabs. JNabs, again, one of my picks for probably a top 3 player in the world, top 5 player in the world. And then we have Rogue versus Flight. Yeah, this is a match for an auto relegation spot. Whoever lost this was an RS team. And yeah, Rogue was dominant in that match, right? Definitely Wonder fixed all his issues for sure. Like he was definitely playing like an RLCS caliber player. First killer popping off, Kronovi playing pretty good. I mean, I don't have anything major to say about any of the performances except Flight just looked, it's Flight. And they flew back to the Rlrs, got him. And then G2 versus Sonics. Oh my god, this is probably, in my opinion, match of the season. Just because, well, not match of the season, but one of the matches of the season. Sonics was projected to finish top 4, and G2 perfect swept them. This is the best G2 played all season, easily. It was crazy. Sonics didn't score a single goal the entire series. G2 is the 3rd team in history to perfect sweep another team. So, one of the best matches of the season right there, the last match of NA. So yeah, and G2 with a 2nd place finish. You know what's crazy? For how good we think G2 is, G2's never had a 1st place finish in all of RLCS. It's either been Cloud9 or NRG, and then season 1 it was iBuyPower, and which is turned into the new G2, and then Kings of Urban, was it? Which Torment was? I don't remember. I'm gonna go look at that because obviously everyone doesn't fucking care. No, Lucky Bounce. Torment was on Lucky Bounce, right? Yeah, Torment was on Lucky Bounce. So Torment's been at the top of the game for a while. Yeah, and then iBuyPower, Crow, Latch, Gambit. Man, I miss that team so much. Oh, Kings of Urban was Sad, Jacob, Fire. Okay, you guys don't give a fuck. So let's get back to the recap. And yeah, then we'll go over the accolades. So Gimmick just putting in a lot of goals once they started getting on form, and he takes the Golden Striker Award. So yeah, Gimmick looking great. All of Cloud9 looking great, actually. And then Justin right after him, and then Chicago. And then the clutch playmaker, of course, is going to be JNAPS. I mean, he's single-handedly carried G2. I mean, I don't want to say single-handedly. It's just, I mean, because obviously Chicago played amazing, and Rizzo, he actually played the best he probably ever has on that team this season, but I mean, JNAPS was still undoubtedly number 1. He just did things that no other player on that team did or could do. In fact, he did things no other player in the world could do at times. He was just crazy. So yeah, JNAPS gets that. And then, I mean, it's no surprise that someone on E United, the most defensive team in all of RLCS, is going to have savior of the season. Again, like Gibbs always says, the lower rated teams are just going to be those teams that get savior of the season, which Shock was just, I remember during the beginning of the season, Shock was, I think he was putting up like 5 saves a game against NRG. Who was it? SSG, because he was on fire at the beginning of the season. He definitely cooled down during the end, but yeah, he had this is one of the times where a good team got a lot of saves, or a good player. So yeah. And then we're gonna look at let's look at the bracket. I'm gonna be doing playoff predictions probably Thursday, so stay tuned for that. I'll have my power rankings video out Wednesday, playoff predictions Thursday. So yeah, we'll get into that. And then G2 Space Station. So Cloud9 goes gaming, get 1 life. G2 and Space Station, they get 2 life. Oh no, not even. You only get a 2nd life if you're not in the semifinals, in the quarterfinals, right? So if you lose in the semifinals, yeah, you're just out. Yeah. Alright, that's how it works. But yeah, no, G2 and SSG, I'd say G2 is the top 4 team in the world, just watching how they play. I'd say Vitality, Dig, SSG, G2 are all up there. I wouldn't know where to put them all. I'd say Vitality's number 1, probably SSG number 2, and then G2 and, I'd say G2 and Dig also would be a toss-up. I'd say SSG, and, I wish we had Worlds this season, then we could actually figure this shit out. Yeah, let's move right on to Europe. Starting off, we have ASM versus Singularity. ASM almost perfect sweep. They scored 1 goal in the final game to avoid a perfect sweep, and just a miserable performance by them. You want to go out banging in your last match of RLCS, but yeah, they couldn't do anything. They're the first team in history to go 0-9, so congratulations to ASM, and you are no longer an RLCS caliber team. You are an RLRS team. So enjoy climbing back up through the rival series. I can easily see them making a roster change or something along the way. If they come back to RLCS with the same roster, then I'm going to kick myself in the nuts, because you need to make a change. You need to make like 3 changes, all right? I'd say the only player you could keep is Extra. Extra was the only player all season who did anything. Extra, I specifically remember he had that freestyle dunk on Scrub Killer in week 2, was it? Which week did they play Scrub? For week 1, it was week 1. But yeah, Extra is the only person who showed that he could do anything. I think Tigre and Ignite both had 10 goals the entire season. That's out of the 9 games. They basically averaged 1 goal a game. Or per series, not a game. If they averaged 1 goal a game, that'd be nuts, but they didn't. Then the next match, we had Mouse versus Endpoint, and man, Arju popped off. Arju is actually nuts. I was surprised to see Arju come out, and he had insane mechanics. He was doing in and out saves out of the net. He just had a really good card control, and you could just tell that by watching how he controlled the ball. And right when I saw how they were letting him play, how Cookser and Speed were kind of working around him, letting him play offense, you know, just letting him do his thing. I actually had a lot of confidence in Mouse, because if Arju was confident, because Arju's obviously a good player, that's why he's a sub, because he can play. It's just confidence I thought was going to be a huge issue, but yeah, they really integrated him well. Also because Mouse also already clinched a top 6 spot, and thanks to Arju, actually, they clinched a top 4 spot, which is just good for playoffs. So yeah, credit to Arju, played well. And then TSM beat FC Barcelona. Now, to be honest, this is the best TSM played all season, and this is also the worst FC Barcelona played all season. So it's kind of goes back and forth here. I think Ronicky was the only player doing anything on FC Barcelona, man. Like, odd Flakes wasn't popping off. Diva did nothing. Let me tell you, he did nothing. Okay, I will admit, Flakes actually performed pretty well on defense. I mean, the first game he had, I think, 5 saves, and he was definitely the defensive rock for most of the series, but he just wasn't performing on offense like we're used to him performing. So I don't know what happened. The beginning of the season they looked great, and then at the end of the season they were going 5 games against Singularity, 5 games against ASM, 5 games against Mouse, 5 games against TSM. Like, what are they doing at the end of the season? I mean, I could see 5 games against Dig. They almost swept Reciprocity. What were the other performances? Yeah, Vitality beat them. Vitality's a good team. They 3-0'd Endpoint, 3-2 Veloce. I just don't know. They definitely lost something that they had at the beginning of the season, and I hope that for the regional championships they can fix it, because if they play the way they have been, they're not going to beat any team. If they play the way they have been, they will be 6th in the regional championships. They will be out. They will definitely lose against Veloce, 100%. They need to fix something. Then the Rec versus Dig match. Bruh. If you haven't seen this match, go watch it. This shit was fire. Alright, it was just goals after goals, and it was nuts. It was nuts. This was probably one of the most intense, on the edge of your seat, what's going to happen matches of the season. And I think this takes the cake. This is the #1 most intense match of the season, for sure, of league play. It was nuts. I don't have enough good things to say about this match. It was fucking amazing. I hate to spoil stuff because, okay, I'll say that Shazette played out of his mind. Astral played out of his mind. God, I think Astral's like one of the best players in the world right now. I mean, I think he's the best mechanical player in the world, easily. I said this before. He does things that are just you don't think are possible. He hits angles on the ball with such power that you didn't even know it existed. Go watch that game. It's so fucking good. And then, yeah, I already covered this. FC Barcelona, they lost to Mouse. Arju, again, I think Arju was the MVP of that series for sure, because he just, like in the first series, I wouldn't say Arju's MVP, but he played well. This series, Arju was MVP. I think in the final game, he scored both goals, was it? I might be wrong, but I can't remember the score of every single game of every series in Rlcs. So, but he played nuts. He was awesome. And you could definitely tell that them working around Arju, Mouse had a different play style, and you can't help but thinking, now that Scrub's gone, does Arju just mesh better with Mouse? You know, it's definitely something to consider. Will we see, after this performance, will we see Arju and RLCS next season? Will we see them look for a new player? Let's see how they do in the regional championships. Obviously, this is 1 week, and they're playing against Endpoint, who finished in a relegation tournament spot. They played against FC Barcelona, who are not looking too hot at the end of the season. So let's see how they do, but they look decent. They look pretty good. I think they can easily finish top 4 in a. Well, they're gonna finish top 4 regardless. I think. Are they? No, they're not. Yeah, I think that they can easily finish top 3, maybe top 4. I don't know how it works. I don't think there's a way to differentiate the 3rd and 4th seed, but I think they could finish 3rd and 4th seed. I don't think they have a chance at number 1 or 2. I think Dig and Vitality are too strong. They're just, both of them are just on another level. And then Vitality versus Veloce, another insane match. Guys, Fairy Peak set 2 world records in one game. 8 goals in one game is now the most goals scored in RLCS in a single match by a single player. 8 goals. And he had a score of 1,514, I think it was, which is a new record for highest score. So Fairy Peak having the game of his life. And because of that, he easily clutched the Golden Striker Award, and now averaging 1.03 goals a game because of that 8-goal game. So, you know, he was fighting with KDAP at the beginning of the day, but after that game, no way. He blew KDAP out of the water. I mean, Fairy Peak couldn't miss. He was 8 for 8 shots. 8 for 8 against a team like Veloce, who has the best defense, or one of the best defenses in RLCS. Fairy Peak went 8 for 8. That just shows you how nuts Fairy Peak was playing. Fairy Peak was easily the MVP of the day. He popped off. It's so crazy to think about. The best defense in RLCS right here, and Fairy Peak went 8 for 8. That just doesn't happen. I could be smurfing at Diamond and still not score 8 goals, because 8 goals is just ridiculously hard to score. It just is not easy. And I also want to compliment KDOP. KDOP just demolishes all the stat lines like it's crazy. 2nd for assists, right? I mean, all of Vitality were at the very top, right? But KDOP specifically, man, I don't think anybody would argue KDOP being the number 1 player in the world. I think it would be stupid to argue that he's not the number 1 player in the world right now, just because, you know, he might not have the fancy mechanics. KDOP's definitely a position first, use my brain first kind of guy. But he just dominates. He's just fucking good. He's one of the best players to ever pick up the game, and he's still on top. Him and Turbo Pulsar, I don't get it, man. I don't get how they're both still as good as they are. Honestly, I feel really bad for KDOP that there's no World Championship, because I think he easily wins his 4th World Championship this season. But, yeah, I guess that's just how it is. Unfortunately, Corona. And then, yeah, Scrub Killer. Even though Scrub Killer he left Mousesport, well, he got kicked off, technically, because he refused to follow his contract. I'm pretty sure that's the story everyone's going with now. Scrub Killer he said that he was going to come out with an official statement, but he's talking to people, I don't know, probably like lawyers or something, because, you know, you can't just say what's in your contract. There's certain things you can't say. So he's trying to get that all together. Oh shit, my nose is so stuffy. Like I said, I probably got like Ebola or something, so nothing to really worry about. I think I think Scrub is the best defender in the world right now. Because obviously there were matches where, you know, people like Devo, and I think in the Dig game, by the way, Astro was making saves that were unheard of. Balls that like, you wouldn't have been mad at Astral if they went in. Like, you would not have cared. You would be like, okay, that's an impossible save. Astro was making those saves. Like I said, go watch this game. It's probably the best game in RLCS League Play Season 9. But like I was saying, I think Scrub still is the best defender in the world, because unlike Devo and Astral and a lot of these other games where, and like Shock in the beginning of the season where he was making nuts saves, Scrub Killer is able to make the saves before they get out of hand. Meaning, like, he's good at not putting himself in a position where he's got to make the most insane save in the world. Not saying that he hasn't, and he doesn't have to, because, I mean, sometimes things are just uncontrollable, but he's just very good at, you know, just blocking a shot before it goes in the net, or before they even take the shot. He's good at contesting. He's making it look like there's no threat on net, because his speed to the ball, his decision-making on defense is just above, I believe, the rest of the league, right? So that's why he gets a lot of saves, but a lot of the times there are many games where it just looks like, you know, easy saves from, or casual 50-50s on the goal line, because, you know, Scrub is just, it's about his decision-making on defense, right? That's why I believe him to be a step above the rest. And then at the end of the day, Arju ends up winning Week 8 MVP. Like I told you, he dominated this FC Barcelona game, man. Arju is nuts. And credit to him because he's coming in with a lot of pressure on him. Not to place well because they already secured a top 6 seed, but he was trying to fill the shoes of Scrubkilla, who is one of the best players in the world right now. I would say Scrubkilla fell off a little bit as opposed to last season. Last season, I'd say it was either Season 7, Scrub was probably the number 1, Season 8, Justin, number 1, and then this season, it's looking like K-Dop, honestly. I have to put K-Dop there. I mean, K-Dop just was too consistent and too dominant this season to not be up at the number 1 spot. There's just no one else with the stats to compare to K-Dop. Yeah, K-Dop's well deserving of that number 1 player in the world right now, I think, right? Obviously, everyone's going to have a different opinion, but, like, yeah, number 2 and number 3, you can definitely make a case for, but there's a clear number 1 right now, and that's what I think. I think there's a clear number 1. But yeah, that's everything, and I'll go back up to the stats. Yeah, Vitality, Dig, finished at the top. Rec had a banger to go out against Mao. No, not Mao's. God, I can't. Dignitas, yeah. So if Dig were to beat Rec, then I think they had a chance to snag the number 1 spot. But Vitality also had a really good game differential. Also, ASM has the new worst game differential in Rlcs history. Before that, it was -15, I think, by -15 by Splice in Season 7. Which, by the way, -18 over a 9-game league play versus -15 over a 7-game league play is the -18 is actually a lot better because -15 means that your game win percentage is actually lower because there's only 7 teams and you're only three games down from 18. So Splice actually performed worse than ASM, even though they won a game. Splice actually, game differential wise, performed worse than ASM, just because with the 2 extra games, ASM was only -18 compared to Splice's -15. Man, remember NRG's 7-0 +15 season? Damn, that was nuts. But yeah, that's everything. Oh, wait, let's look at the bracket real quick. How long have I been recording? Nice, I've been recording for 31 fucking minutes. It's awesome. This is gonna be the brackets. Again, I'll have predictions out Wednesday. Yeah, no, not Wednesday. This video is coming out Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I want to end this video now. Oh yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys. Peace.